Good afternoon. This is Robert with today's Peace Talk, where I come on and to encourage and to uplift. And this has been a somewhat of a difficult week to keep your head up this week with the murder of George Floyd on Memorial Day. That as I look at the newscasts and broadcasts and different things, it's very disturbing because this gentleman looks like somebody in my family. Hey, babe. He looks like my uncles. He looks like my cousin. He looks like my brother. When you see people that are repeatedly victimized and murdered or even profiled, hey, or how you doing? When you see that repeatedly, this is a disturbing thing because it's a repeat, and then you are accused of playing the race card, or people are made to think that they're making excuses and it's justifiable, but these things are not justifiable. As we see and we know that we see this repeatedly, and I think this time this has sparked something in the country, that there are people that have been blind to it that are going to start really seeing this. This can't be continuing to happen nationwide. This is a phenomenon, and the phenomenon has to be addressed. It has to be admitted. You have to admit this is actually a systemic thing. It is not individual. It is not an individual case. These are systemic things, because if anybody that is in a place of authority that feels that they have a right and a privilege to do harm to somebody that they're called to protect, this is something that, and they're not prosecuted and they're not punished. They may have its administrative leave. That's kind of the thing that has been normalized. They have administrative leave with pay, so that means they get a paid vacation. But this time there's been a swift retaliation, but we have to continue to have dialogue about this. And one of my daughters in the spirit, Aura, we had a talk earlier this week, and it was phenomenal, and it was cathartic for me. It was very helpful because she brought up something that I guess I was reluctant to talk about, and this subject is that. And so I thank God for that dialogue. But in the midst of even all this, God is a God of peace. He tells us, he says, no matter what you're dealing with, no matter what the situation is, I want you to address it, but I don't want it to disrupt and keep you from a place of peace. A place of peace is where we live. You cannot successfully and accurately hear the voice of God for your life and for your destiny and for the furtherance of your direction until you hear and listen to what God says from a place of peace. Peace is, the Bible says that peace is surpassing our understanding. So how can you have peace when you're looking at these repeated situations all over our country where our people that look like me are being murdered and killed by the people who are supposed to protect us? How can you have peace? God says, I'll give it to you. It's supernatural. Natural peace is hard to have. You can't grasp it. But he says, I got something that's supernatural. You don't have to understand it. Just take it. Hey, Austin. Hey, Henry Sapp. Hen Sapp on here. All right. We got a celebrity on here. That's my brother. But I thank God that God gives us peace in the midst of any turmoil. He said that. He says, no matter what you're facing, I got enough peace to get you over it. So I want to just encourage you in the midst of what we're dealing with, in the midst of the trauma. That was trauma. When I see that, I was traumatized, and I don't even know that brother. I was traumatized. I didn't even have the words to say. I was like, I heard somebody say something that was really powerful on Pastor Glenn's talk today. He says, I'm in between thoughts when I think about this. I'm in between thoughts. It was so traumatic. And so even over the days, I'm gathering my thoughts and trying to get myself together to really address it with my church Sunday. And so I thank God that He is my peace. He is the God of peace. And so in the midst of tragedy, God says, I'll still give you peace. And I'll give you a strategy in my peace that will help you navigate this and come out better and help somebody and produce a dialogue and help you to do it in a way. Aura, she is a fabulous communicator. She is fabulous, and she posed a question. She asked a question on her post. She said, where is the white Christians in this? And after that, I saw a slew of them coming, and they're talking, and they're dialoguing, and they're making their voice known. That is what we need. We need white faces, white Christians to voice to speak up, and they're doing that. White pastors all over the country, even in this city, are speaking out and voicing their disdain for this situation. It must stop. You got to stop. You can't keep allowing our law enforcement people to be unlaw enforcements. They can't enforce unlawful acts and then get away with it. No. Now, I want to say this caveat. I know a lot of wonderful police officers in this city. They're wonderful. The majority of them are doing the right thing. They are. Hey, Rita. What's up, Bernie? How you doing? So I think we as a people, especially as Christians, we have to stand up and we have a voice and an influence. The sphere of influence that we have, use it. If you don't have but an influence of 20 people, use your influence of 20 people to influence those people in the right direction, in the godly direction. God is never, I love the God of the Bible that says, if I ever hear about you messing with the widow and the orphan and the foreigner, and they cry out to me at all, that I will give swift judgment. And so God is a God of the underdog. He's the God of those that are oppressed. If they come and cry out to Him, He says, I'll stand up for them. So we need, in the midst of this, we need to cry out. We need to sound the alarm. We need to band together. We need to stop injustice, because Martin Luther King says injustice anywhere is an enemy of justice everywhere. So when that brother did that, that's why people are outraged. And that outlet of destruction, that's what they're feeling, the turmoil on the inside. And it came out in that way. And I don't condone that, but the point is, don't look at just the destruction. Look at what caused it. Look at the catalyst. And that's that man's murder. And so I just want to end on this, that God is still a God of peace. So in the midst of tragedy, God says, come here, come to me. I will give you peace. But not just give you peace, I'll give you a strategy of how to deal with the situation and how to turn lives around in that. So this is Robert Sims with today's Peace Talk. If this has been beneficial to you, like it and share it and give it to somebody. Send it to somebody that hopefully it'll be a word of encouragement. And I'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.